few months ago, I was at a product conference, and one of the best talks that I heard was someone talking about the idea of a product bottleneck. And they're bringing up AI and how AI is making everything 10 times faster, but not everything. Specifically the coding, the engineering. People are able to generate code a lot faster, but it hasn't led to 10 times the output or 10 times the success of most products. And the reasoning behind it, which I thought was really smart, was that if you go earlier in the chain, it's not like product in the problem space got 10 times faster. That's still lagging behind. So I wanted to bring this up. I'm someone that has spent 4 or 5 years in enterprise as a product person and 10 years in sales in the same space. And what I've been doing is been building my first 0 to 1 product. This is like a shot at it and really seeing the challenges and the differences of it. And something that I've noticed and I'm seeing clearly, like clear insight surface, but I had to kind of learn it through some user testing, is that because it's so easy to build, because there's all these site generators, anyone can come up with an idea and say, hey, check out my new product. You can go to subreddits like side projects, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about, what I'm about to say. And that is, it's too easy, it's far too easy, and it's a mistake to start building a product with a solution. Because the solution is like your personal system. Unless you've identified the problem, which many people have, that solution is going to fall flat. And I'm reflecting on this because I had an idea for a product and I started using it, and I use it every day in my workflow. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is something that I'm actually using. And then I put a little alpha test in front of some friends and just had them use it and got some feedback. Not only did churn occur after the first few days, but I started asking and figuring out, what did I miss here? And a couple things. One, everyone else had like a similar, because it's like a productivity, it was originally a productivity system. Everyone else had a system that was slightly different or slightly modified, a little bit more personal to them. So this should give you a clue. It's personalization. So there was no real value to changing to what I created. Again, my, at the time, personal customized solution, thinking it was a product. So that wasn't there. But also, what was exposed was like actual problems, and it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't me, how I framed it originally. What actually, so that, again, it showed me that I was creating a custom solution for people and everyone's their own custom solutions without knowing the problem. So that was a mistake, and that's what I've been iterating on first, and I've been starting to talk about work orientation, which I'll get to in a second. The other thing I want to point out is you can see this on Reddit, like side project, and if you go on there, everyone's talking about, hey, I just built this, and if you look and if you see, everyone is really, not everyone, but 40 out of 45 projects on there are someone building an idea that they had with a solution orientation. They came up with a good idea. This is going to solve their problem, and they think they're solving a problem. What's actually happening is they're just codifying a solution that they've already created. They haven't identified the problem correctly. So that's the part to slow down on. You can go really fast and come up with solutions and build and put all this stuff out there. The part that takes time and that's worth it is actually finding what the problem is. So I'll go back to this productivity app and just share where I'm at and where things are at with Precision Flow. So originally I thought, I want to create something for people who, like me, want to make sure they're spending their time on the right things, like spending time in deep work. For product people, you want to spend more time in product than you do answering Slacks or fixing bugs. And the idea was, if you're measuring that, what measure gets improved? So like, look, if you mark down and you start your timer of when you're doing product work and you reflect on it and you look at your weekly summaries, you'll see how much time you're spending here versus other places, and you can adjust it over time. Okay, so I made a solution and it worked for me. Like over the past, I got promoted last year. I've been My stock has been rising as far as the product thinking person, and that's been great. Again, that was a custom solution. So I put that in front of users. It didn't really do anything for them. Again, they didn't see the value. But what I did learn during that process is why was it hard to start? What was challenging? A commonality is not so much the tracking and all that. Those are nice to have. It's, like for a freelancer told me that, man, I have so many different things that go on through the day to remember to actually go start a timer and track things. It's just not helpful. It's just, it feels like a friction point. Okay, so there's one thing identified. Someone else says, I don't really want to reflect every time I finish a task. Okay, something else there. And then other people says, it just didn't go with my systems. Like our workflows are different. I have all these different tasks and I couldn't really categorize them. Another point. So if you see what I'm talking about here, is these people are talking about the friction they had, one, with the system that I created, my personalized solution, but also identifying problems. And as I dug deeper, and this kind of went on, is the problem spot that I've identified, the thing that a lot of people raise their hand and say, yeah, I relate to that. Like that is a problem. This is challenging. And I don't see too many people talking about it, is actually work orientation, which means, okay, I'm going to start my day. I have a bunch of shit to do. Where do I start? Okay, that's one. Like, is there a solution that can be created to the problem of starting your day and having to go from a cold start to getting to the zone, to knowing what you're doing and to getting to that flow state? That's what I'm building around. That's interesting to me, and that's something that is a problem space. Another part of that is modern work is full of interruptions, right? You'll be working on something and you'll check Slack, or you'll be working on something and you'll check Twitter. It's just like, it's natural. And so many have built and tried these apps that block all that stuff, and I don't think it's effective. I've tried it. I'm sure some people find success, but it requires a lot of discipline. It's so what I'm seeing is, okay, what if we reframed it? What if we reframe the problem is not that we get interrupted? What if we reframe and actually look at the problem itself is not getting interrupted? It's when you do get interrupted, it's so hard. It takes 22 minutes, I think is what I read, to get back into the work. So the reframe there is, could we solve the problem of getting back into the work? Could we reduce that time from 22 minutes to say 3? And that's, again, when I'm building precision flow around that. It's all about orientation, getting back to where you are. And I don't want to, this isn't a video to sell what I'm working on. It is to share what I'm doing, but more so the observation of, be mindful and watch out for how many new builders, whether it's yourself or myself making these mistakes, are building products that are really just custom solutions. That's where the market's going to go. The market's going to go where anyone who wants to build something will be able to build something that works for them. But if you want to be a product builder, you're not going to be building a solution for yourself. You got to look at what problems need to be solved and how can you solve it at scale. So that's just what I want to reflect on. I'm here to share what I'm doing and also connect with other product type thinkers. Thanks for listening.